this is the final day. I am pleased to announce that all the 10 provinces have been completed. The returns from the primary elections have been submitted to the Politburo, and the various candidates, I think up to 99.9%, have all been endorsed. This highlights the fact that our primaries are as democratic as can be. We ultimately are relying on the choice of the electorate through the cell registers, which were the voter registration book from which the candidates were drawn, but also from which the membership could vote for them. So 10 provinces are done. I will only add instances where there may have been some recommendation. Otherwise, you assume that if I don't comment on it, everything went well in that province. So it was a well-run exercise by the political commissar, the primaries, with a few instances of violence which have been adequately addressed by the Politburo. As you know, our president is on record to say zero tolerance to violence, and he's applying the principle even to our own politics within Zanu-PF. We say charity begins at home. There have been, and the details of the winner, because it's late today, we have to finesse the names. Tomorrow you will be having a press conference with the National Political Commissar. Then he will read out the names of the winners. In the Politburo, we went through each and every candidate who submitted his or her CV. It didn't matter you won or you didn't win. We went through first because we want to make sure that we get a feel of the candidates and their ages and their sex, their gender, and of course their age, whether they are young, because we saw that there was a very, very active participation by young people in the affairs of the Zanu-PF primary elections. There were a lot of young people, but there were also a lot of people from other walks of life. Yeah, in particular today, we had one candidate I won't mention, who comes from, a young man who comes from Gwanda, Mount South, and he is very successful gold miner. He has made it as a candidate of Zanu-PF. The names will be provided tomorrow. But we are also, that means we are recognizing the evolution of the economy as the opportunities are given by Second Republic. There are many young people, many young women who now find themselves hoping that the future of their economic activities can be better than before. So these sprouting shoots of the new economy, we have embraced them, and we are also happy that some of them are coming to the ruling party to become active members, to become active participants. This is a process of renewal within the party, and the president was most delighted that so many young people were made it to become candidates, and they now are in the book of the candidates of Zanu-PF this year. There were reruns, and the provinces I will mention, the province and the constituents, Midlands, Gokwe, Nembuzia, there will be a rerun. In Caesar, there will be a rerun. Zimba West, there will be a rerun. And in all these three instances, there were some infractions and some confrontation between various candidate groups. And as a result, we don't think that we got a proper reflection of the winning candidates. So we felt a rerun under more strict conditions is going to issue us with a better judgment as to who is the winner. Those are the new three. You have already got some from yesterday, but tomorrow the PC will give you a comprehensive view. There was one disqualification, and it's in Gutu East. Again, I am not mentioning the name, but the winner was disqualified because it was felt that his papers were not in order in terms of transfer from one region to another and from one political district to another. He must have contrived to become a candidate. So we are very thorough in our discussion of the merits or otherwise of the various candidates. There is also one addition, which is a correction, which was a correction, but it had not gone to you. A certain person was designated winner, but the vigilant political commissar and his team realized that there was a mistake. So he will be announcing a new winner who is in Manicaland, who was not mentioned yesterday. But for a hint, she is the chairperson of the Manicaland province. So it's not my duty to announce the winners, but I felt that this should be done so that the matter is put to rest. What is going on? So there we are. After several sessions of the Politburo, we are at this final stage where the winning team of Zanu-PF is now known. This is the team which we were fielding to confront the MDC, CCC opposition parties in the coming elections. We are very confident that because this team has been elected democratically, this will ensure that there is a quick reconciliation between the losers and the winners, and that we will have a team Zanu-PF. We are doing it well ahead of the elections. Elections are 4 months away, so any rubbing of the wounds and any licking of the wounds can be done and the scars are healed, and that we then can field a solid team which will make sure that we have a whitewash election come July, August, as has been indicated by the President in a statement issued by the Minister of Justice. This is our team. We are hoping that the other side, which is the CCC and the MDC, they can also go a similar selection of candidate process so that we develop the ethos of democracy within Zimbabwe to a higher level. There's always been this accusation that Zanu-PF is not democratic, but you've seen for yourself. This has been a very transparent manner. You had many of you going to the various constituencies to see people lining up to queue to vote. You now have seen the results of that vote being debated, and at each and every occasion, you have been called to be briefed at every step by Zanu-PF so that you follow the goings on in Zanu-PF without having to go for rumors or otherwise. Yes, there is fiction which is usually created by opposition papers, but it doesn't exist. So we have an open manner conducted our primary elections, and the results are being published in an open manner, which is a press conference, because you are the interface between Zanu-PF and the people. We appreciate your role, so we try to give you as much as possible the most accurate information about what we are doing in Zanu-PF, because we are an accountable party. We are a part of democracy. We are a part of the future of Zimbabwe. We are also doing as much as possible in the present circumstances to make sure that the people of Zimbabwe feel that there is a government which cares about their welfare and about their future. So here we are. We have come to the end of the primaries. We are now waiting for the proclamation of the date of elections. Then we will field this team of candidates. And the President is very confident that coming from the people, these candidates will also be able to garner enough support, as opposed to the other part where the candidates come from the rabbit head of an individual or a coterie of individuals who feel they can do groupthink on behalf of a political party. It doesn't have structures. It exists in the mind of the leader, and it is not organized, that party. We are organized from the cell all the way to the provinces. That's where our candidates come from. So we will be fielding the Zanu-PF organizational machine against the MDC-CCC disorganized apparatus, the ramshackle, which is the CCC and the MDC. And we are very confident that the electorate will endorse a party with pedigree, a party with a history, and a party with a correct charting of the future of Zimbabwe through the so many things of economic transformation, which is making the economy of the country grow, but also making our currency become stronger, because we are earning all the US dollars anyway. People no longer want to worry about them, but more important, giving hope to a young generation which always feels that the future must offer them a better life than the one which they are having today. So it is a part of the future. I want to say the long and the short, the job is done. The primaries have been concluded. The president worked very hard with his team. He personally was supervising each and every candidate, the loser and the winner, to make sure that he gets a feel, a pulse of the party, Zanu-PF. And he is very confident of the team which has been fielded, because it is not coming from him, it is coming from the membership. We reached up to 4.5 million registered members. The political commissar will be giving you the numbers that voted in our primaries. There were challenges in many of them voting because we made people write the names of their candidates. So it's a little bit of a cumbersome process, and not everybody is adept at writing. There may have been instances where papers were spoiled because they couldn't spell names properly. We think that much as it was not up to scratch compared to the ZEC, it means that if people were so enthusiastic in a difficult administrative environment, which is only a part, we are only a part, and we don't have the same resources of the government, we feel that this dress rehearsal will prepare ourselves better for the ZEC elections, which will be administered in the next 4 months. The enthusiasm which we saw, we think it will carry the party through all the way to the national harmonized elections. And because the ballot paper will be much simpler, we expect that there will be less spoiled papers, and there will be the voting will be much quicker than what we had this last time. Because we do things on a budget, on a shoestring budget. We are not a very rich party, but we are a very popular party, that I can assure you. We may not be as rich, but we are very popular with the people, because we are trying to make the people's lives change for the better. That is the assignment of Zanu-PF. We don't promise pies in the sky, and we don't just focus on going to State House like the other party. They can't administer cities because they want to do that only when they're in the State House. So 20 years they've been trying to go into the State House. The cities have rotated. They don't care because they are more concerned with State House power. They forget that power starts at Town House. You must also do something for the Town House because they are the same voters. And we saw a substantial increase in the registered cells in urban cities. So we're thinking we're making a comeback, and in the course of the elections, we are very confident that the president will make some announcements specifically directed to the urban electorate to make them feel they are part of the new environment of hope, which is now wafting throughout the whole country, especially in rural areas. Now, we think that it is a chance for the urban people to see that Zanu-PF can deliver as opposed to the MDC, CCC, city fathers. We have never bothered to develop cities and towns for 2 decades. We also just want to add that we congratulated our president for winning the freedom of cities. First, Victoria Falls, he was awarded the freedom of the city. Then yesterday, he went to Gweru, he was awarded the freedom of the city. It's very interesting that both cities are run by the opposition. It's a good thing. It shows that even the opposition are beginning to appreciate the good things which are being done by our president. We believe that this is the spirit of Zimbabwe. We believe that we can reach out to each other and share a vision of a nation where political differences do not translate into treacherous tendencies, where you begin to go outside of the country to canvass against your own brother at the behest of foreign powers. Most of them just want to come and be marauders. They are jealous of our wealth, they are jealous of our riches, they are jealous of our minerals. So they want to take them away from us like they did in the colonial era. And you then go to them and say they are the ones who should advise on the politics of Zimbabwe. We think that this is the fundamental difference between us and CCC. If they can show more of patriotic credentials, we'll be very happy, because we like an opposition, because it is in the constitution of Zimbabwe. And I always emphasize, we came to power, ballot to office, not bullet to office. So democracy is in our DNA as Zanu-PF. All we want is a homegrown opposition which contests on the merits of what they can do to the Zimbabwe people, not on how they can become servile underdogs of foreign powers, mostly former powers, which were colonial planters. We don't subscribe to that. Otherwise, we have no problem with the opposition. I want to thank you very much. So tomorrow, you'll be getting the details of all the winners. They will be announced here by the National PC, but you spent a long day waiting. It would have been unfair for you to go without a story. We have completed the 10 provinces. The president has worked very hard. The team of Zanu-PF is now known, which will be confronting the MDC, CCC in the coming elections. It's done. They are ready now to take on the job of convincing the electorate in their various constituencies that the party which will address the day-to-day challenges of the Zimbabwe people is Zanu-PF, and we have the solutions to make their life better than what has been going on up to now. And this is the platform, the manifesto on which we'll be campaigning. Done. The primaries are done. They were done in the full glare of the nation of Zimbabwe. Even for foreigners, they could follow the trends. And the results are not secret. You know, you saw us all coming. We saw us briefing you afterwards. We are an open party which believes in democracy. We believe we are accountable to the population of Zimbabwe. We believe we have to answer to the needs of our membership, and our membership believes that it can offer the best candidates to make sure that at local level, at National Assembly level, and at Senate level, we field the best possible team that can drive Zimbabwe forward. The middle income status of 2030 and a prosperous nation. We are very much focused on that road. And this election is one more step to put a government which will make sure that this dream can be realized by the people of Zimbabwe. I think. Any questions? Today I'm alone. Thank you.
Have you set the date for the reruns?
For the reruns? No, those dates will be given tomorrow by the National Political Commissar. As you know, he is the one who runs the elections. I am only giving you an overview so that you get a general gist of what we've been doing. He will be coming tomorrow to give you the details. I may accompany him, but definitely the dates will be given. We are trying as much as possible to finish off this chapter. We want our team to refocus, because we have been through our own cut and thrust of internal politics, but we are now having to remold the winners and the losers to make them a solid team. And because it was a democratic process, the misgivings and rancor are much more easier to manage, because everybody knows. You know, the results of these elections are already posted on V11s of the polling booths. If you had traveled around the country taking all those results, you would come to exactly the result which you are getting here. So they are on public display, these results. We mimicked how ZEC runs the elections. Because we see these elections as a dress rehearsal of the main elections come the second quarter and the second half, early in the second half of this year, as has been indicated. So the results are available, they are posted. You will also be happy to know that there has been an ad hoc committee which has been addressing complaints. So all the reruns are a product of the complaints, particularly complaints from the candidates, because we think that the guardian of democratic practice at a polling booth, there's no better one than the candidate, because he wants a certain outcome. So we were putting special emphasis on complaints from the losing candidates. And where there have not been reruns, there are other avenues which have been used to try to address where there may have been complaints. But in some instances, the Politburo has also reserved the right to consult with the local communities, including the chiefs, to see whether the candidate who may have won is the one who can deliver victory. There are very few instances, but they are there. Probably they don't even count on my finger. But we have been also trying to listen to the various stakeholders in Zanu-PF so that we can find a candidate who will deliver victory. So yes, the vote was very important, but also the consultative process of the different stakeholders of the party, particularly in marginal constituencies where we think that we need to snatch them away from MDC CCC. We may have to, the political commissar and the leadership may have the flexibility, if I can put it, to go and consult the concerned community so that we have a consensus candidate who we think can stand better to win the seat back from CCC. We want a whitewash. We want a landslide against CCC. Then afterwards maybe they can be reborn as a homegrown opposition movement, because we want them to be judged on the fact that they are a proxy for foreign interests and they are not there necessarily to save the people of Zimbabwe. That's why they've not been that diligent in terms of running of cities for 2 decades, because they didn't feel that that was an assignment which America wanted. They didn't feel that there was an assignment which Britain wanted. They didn't feel that it was an assignment which EU wanted, to run cities properly, to get people to get jobs in towns, to get investors to come to towns so that the towns can become paragons of development as a town should be. All the world knows that towns are the centers and paragons of development. MDC has not done anything like that in 2 decades because it was not a priority of their masters to develop urban centers. Otherwise, the urban vote for them and even the way to State House would have been a tarred road, a highway, if they had proven that they can run cities well. Even the whole nation of Zimbabwe, the majority rural areas would be saying, the towns are run better by CCC, MDC, therefore we want them in government. Unfortunately, they failed that litmus test of running their local government entities. Now they are having to accept that if they want to give freedom of the city, they have to give it to the president of Zanu-PF. We are very happy about that when our capacity and our excellence is being recognized by the opposition. It's a good thing. Maybe the voters can see it the same manner so that you put better councillors from Zanu-PF who will make sure that the cities can go back to being sunshine and clean and no garbage, no tattered roads, factories which are being opened all the time, people going to work. These are what cities are producing, world-class goods made for the world-class market in our urban centers. That is the purpose of a city. Unfortunately, that has not been the case by the CCC, MDC, city fathers for 2 decades. I thank you.